Hey everyone, Boom Rays here, and I just got done seeing the new Michael Jackson biopic. And I'm going to tell you if I thought it was good or not. Now, I'm just going to hit it swinging right off the bat. The critics are definitely wrong here. Now, don't get me wrong, the film is not a masterpiece or anything, but is nowhere near as bad as people have been making it out to be, mostly the critics. Now, I think I should get out of the way first. I am not a Michael Jackson connoisseur. I know the basic things about his life, upbringing, and his controversies, and I like his songs, but I am nowhere near knowing how all the rabbit holes and everything. I mean, I didn't even put together that the Jacksons 5 were the Jackson family band until this film. So I think that just speaks volumes of my lack of depth in Michael Jackson lore. Now, if you're wondering whether or not this is worth the watch, I'd say, yeah. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, I think you'll love the hell out of it. It's fun, the whole soundtrack is fantastic, as to be expected for a film about the King of Pop, as well as the score being good. Not fantastic or anything, but good. There's a nice string piece of music towards the end of the film, and it's nice to listen to. But I think it goes without saying the Jackson numbers are the standouts here. Every scene where Jackson music plays or they pay homage to it make the film feel alive. And the whole last 3 minutes I was jamming in my chair. I was not sitting still at all. So if you're someone who's not very diverse in who Michael Jackson is, but I mean, how can you not be? Then I'd say if you have free time and need something to do for a few hours, then I think Michael will be a good enough way to spend your time. Now, I'm going to go a bit more in-depth here, and I'll try to keep it spoiler-free, but if I do go into anything spoiler-rated, I'll let it know so you can skip around the video. I think it goes without saying, but Jafar Jackson is great in his role as playing his uncle, and does show a good range of emotion for the character he's playing. Like, he completely owns the role. I think just in general, the whole cast is good. There's not really a performance I'd call weak or bad by any means. I do think Miles Teller's character, though, is severely underdeveloped, but he still does a good performance, even though his character could have used a good amount more development, and he barely has any screen time. Although, with that being said, the main focus of this film is Michael's relationship with his family, and I think it does a solid enough job. The film was supposed to be 4 hours long, covering all of Jackson's life, but then it got split in two, so there's only covers from his 60s to his 80s, so that's why it is more focused on the family, and I think it does a solid enough job of it. Michael's father is established as the main antagonist of the story very clearly, and the main story is about Michael breaking out into his own, away from his father's control. And I think it's handled decently here. Whilst it's not a four-dimensional character relationship or anything, film does a good enough job at making you not like him, and whilst the dad was bad in the film, it sort of hints to an idea that his ways were banned, but they ended up forming Michael in 2 years. Feels like the film doesn't really dive deep into that. There's a scene halfway where Michael breaks off from his father, like firing him, and it feels like it should be a big climactic moment and there should be some line like, "I made you who you are," but it doesn't really go that far, and it's kind of just surface level. I think something like Rocketman does a better job at exploring Elton John and how his life and his struggles created his music. But I mean, I haven't watched Rocketman in over a year, but I'm just going to try and go off on a limb and stick by that. Michael's brothers are kind of just there, as well as his sister, who has, like 10 lines of dialogue, I think, at most. But they serve their purpose fine enough, sort of being a unit within the family. And I think Michael has okay character development. Going back to sort of like the two halves of this film, because of the magnitude of Michael as a person, obviously you're going to have a 4-hour movie on your hands, but because it was cut out, it's obviously going to be only one chunk of his life, but that chunk of his life does feel developed. But with this first half of the 4-hour film being more positive and everything, it's more going to be of a people pleaser, and then that's sort of taking a bit more further, and due to it being a people pleaser, Michael can't become that nuanced. I mean, you still get a feel for his character, and Jafar Jackson still acts the hell out of him, but still, even all those aside, I would be lying if I said I didn't have a fun time with it. Even with the problems, as I said, it's a people pleaser, and it does seem to please and works well enough as more of a Michael Jackson tribute than a full-on biopic, or more so a tribute to his first half of his life. But at the same time, being a people pleaser isn't too bad. It just makes you love Michael Jackson. You come out of the cinema and you're just kind of boogieing, singing Bad, Thriller, all those good ones. But with the aim of it being a people pleaser, it is kind of just more regular biopic stuff. But at the same time, every biopic is usually going to follow the story of starting out as, you know, not known to becoming famous. And the second half of Michael Jackson's life is not regular biopic stuff. So obviously that'd be covered in the second half, which is cut from this. I think a lot of criticisms is due to the fact that it was split in two, but at the same time that doesn't take away criticisms from the film at all. But going back to my previous point, if you did take that 4-hour film and just chopped it up into a standard 2-hour 30-minute biopic, I mean covering all of Jackson's life, 1, you'd feel like you're a Ferrari car doing a race course on a rocket, and 2, I doubt you'd come out loving Michael Jackson as much due to the second half of the film logically covering the allegations. I think, as of now, the situation is a decent win-win for everyone. Studios get to make more money if they release a second half, which realistically will be happening, and people who don't like sitting around watching a 4-hour film don't have to watch a 4-hour film. They just get to watch it split into 2 2-hour films. And when that second half does get released, I mean, how can it not? If it does go more darker, at least you have the first one to come back to, which can be much more of an easy breezy fun watch. Now, I do think this film is good for what it is, but going into it, I thought it would be like all of Michael Jackson's life, so I was a bit disappointed. I know I am kind of stupid, like they literally showed none of that in the trailer, but what are you gonna do? But I do feel critics are kind of being too harsh on it. But the film's good enough. As I said, it's a people pleaser, and it's definitely gonna please. Like, I will be very, very shocked if this does not make money. But that's kind of all I've got to say today. And I'm gonna give the movie a 7 out of 10. 7.5, that feels better. It's probably like a 7.4, but a 7.5 just feels more neater when coming to a final conclusion for a score instead of like a 7.3, a 7.5, a 7.6.5, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what you thought of the film down in the comments, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one, guys. This is Boom Rays tuning out.